Meg is finally starting to wake up. She realises that Dijon calls her my Meg even though he won't close things off. That he must be flirting with the girls who are coming into the house if they all seem to think that he's interested in them and she doesn't trust him. Well, better late than never. Love Island UK episode 26, Casa Day 2. Well, technically it's Casa Day 2 for the boys, but not for the girls. Why did they leave the space so long? That means that the guys have got to know the girls for a longer time, and it's not fair. Meg was saying that at this point she wasn't bothered if new boys came in or not. Imagine the boys got to go to Casa, and then the girls were just left there on their own. That would be diabolical. Now, on night one, when I tell you I was shocked that Dijon and Harry decided to sleep out in the daybeds, especially with Harry. I was like, oh my god, he's actually going to sleep outside and try and be respectful for the first time in his life ever. We know that Dijon's only doing it because he got in trouble last time. Before they went to bed, Dijon went to some of the boys and says that Ben was being really disrespectful because Ben and Andrada had kissed, and they says that they were going to share a bed, and then all of a sudden he changed his mind and says he was going to share a bed with somebody else, and Ben didn't even realise how rude he was being. So Andrada was like, oh, I'm not really bothered, it's night one, like whatever, it's just the way you did it. And Ben's like, oh, I feel really bad. Like, how did they not realise that that was rude as fuck? Lucy was talking to Tommy and she grabbed his arm and put it round her. And then just after he finished kissing Andrada, she went over and he was hugging her, and I was like, this is a very weird setup that's going on. Now that Dijon's over in Casa, Meg has had time to sit back and think, if all these girls are putting up the signals for Dijon, he must be sending them out the vibes. This isn't coming from nowhere. He's calling me my Meg and then he's not closing things off with me, like as if he was holding back to go into Casa, and she doesn't trust him. And she actually says, I've let this happen. And as we know, like a day in there can feel like a week. So she's been apart from him for a couple of hours, so that's like a day or two, and she's been sitting thinking, do you know what? I look like a fucking idiot. Over in Casa, the boys are wasting no time. Everybody's kissing everybody. Connor's kissing Emma, Ben's kissing Andrada. Every cunt's kissing. Harry and Emma sit down for a chat, and it's very interesting because they went out for 3 years and they lived together, and she was saying, I'm not here to try and like start egging or make things awkward. I'm just here to find somebody. And she was saying, oh, like, we still love each other, but you can't give me what I want. And then she said that he was bringing girls back to their house. That just goes to show you how much a narcissist he really is. She says that when you set a boundary, he has to cross it. We've only seen him on TV for a couple of weeks, and how many times have we witnessed that already? Pure narcissism, taking girls back to their house, no respect for her whatsoever. He's just a fucking dick. The next day, finally, hallelujah, it's time for the boys to arrive. I don't know if you've seen the video that was on TikTok, and it was showing you all the boys that were supposedly going into Casa, and all of them were hot. And I instantly thought, that's not accurate. And when it said on it had been confirmed by the Sun, well, the Sun talks shit anyway, but I couldn't find the article. So I didn't believe it, but I thought I would be shocked if they brought in Casa boys that were all stunning. Now I must admit, this is probably one of the better Casa lineups I've ever seen. Right, so first of all we've got Ty. Chris. Boris. He is very confident. He's like, I've got the looks, I've got the personality, the ladies are going to love me. Confidence is key. He seems to be interested in Tony and Shakira. As soon as they went into the house, he says, I would just like to say Shakira hasn't been treated right since the start. Basically making out as if he's in there just for her. But then when he was talking to Tony, he was saying, oh, you're really interesting. And she says, I've never met anybody like him before. So this could be a new partner for her. Cash, Jamie and Martin. Another 2 people for London. Amazing. I mean, I always moan that there's too many people for London, but when you actually look at the size of London, it's fucking astronomical compared to Scotland, so I suppose that's why they've got so many Londoners in there. So the next day, Ben was talking to Andrada and he says, I feel bad about last night. I feel like the sexual chemistry between us is crazy. And she's like, yeah. You know how when you get guys that constantly go right and lick their lips for no reason whatsoever, and I'm thinking, do you need some lip balm? Do you actually need help? She constantly does, like, licks her teeth and licks her lip, like she's constantly got her tongue out. It's very baffling to me. I was sitting with my niece and even she says, why does she keep sticking her tongue out? I says, your guess is as good as mine. Dijon is also interested in Andrada, and apparently they've got intense sexual chemistry as well, so the sexual chemistry's fucking bouncing off the walls over in casa. He says, I like how you look, you're my type, but it's about more than looks, it's about personality and all that. He then had a chat with her later, basically saying, aye, you're my type, you're smart, I like your conversation and all that. They two are going to end up banging for sure. Jamie was chatting to Tony and Yasmin. I've just noticed there, has he got a shaving rash on his chest? Or is it prickly heat? Anyway, I just got distracted there, sorry. But he was sitting talking to they two and they were talking about who Yasmin hasn't kissed in the villa. And he says, oh me. So Yasmin was like, oh, do you want to? Why not? The boys are over in casa fucking kissing everything that moves. Somebody might as well get a kiss in there. Meg was speaking to Ty, and we have seen Meg speaking to Dijon, and we can see that she's usually quite flirty, quite laughy and all that. She wasn't like that with Ty, but it's not that I don't think she fancies anybody. I think that she's a bit conflicted at the moment because she's already says that she doesn't trust Dijon. If she doesn't go with somebody else in that house, or at least try and make a connection, she's going to feel like a dick when he comes back with somebody else. Or realistically, he'll probably kiss a lot of people in the villa and then come back on his own so that he's got more chance of winning the show. Because he's over there thinking, oh, she's let me away with it time and time again. I can just go back and do whatever I want. They got a text and it was time to play Ron She Races, and this time they added in the names of who had completed the challenge. They don't usually do that. Normally it's just like the tallest boy kissed the shortest girl or whatever, and they don't know any of the girls' names, they don't know what they look like or anything. But this time they know that Harry's ex is in there and her name's Emma. And this is why, like, they're trying to play head games with them. So then if it's like, oh, kiss the person that you fancy the most, they're already going to know when they come back to the villa who they fancy the most. And they'll be like, oh, who's Lauren or who's Andrada or whatever. So this is obviously just to get them thinking a bit more and make them more paranoid. I was surprised that Meg was absolutely fuming anytime Dijon done something. Oh, he did squats with Andrada on his back, fuck off. But they are playing the game as well. They're doing the challenge as well. And when she was winning it, and it was like... But then when the boys were doing it, they were raging. The boys never get raging when they know that their partner's kissed a guy. They'll maybe be like, oh, she's kissed somebody. But they don't fume the way the women do. Personally, if it was me, I would possibly go over and burn the other villa to the ground. But I'm unhinged. So in the end, the villa won the party. And that was the most action that the girls had got, because the boys are over in casa, they're exploring, they're talking to everybody, they're kissing one or two girls. We've hardly even seen that. I mean, what one of the girls even kissed? Yasmin kissed one of the guys. And I think that was it. Helena was talking to Kasha on the terrace, and she says, oh, you don't want to be speaking to me on the terrace? My type's like narcissistic, haha, kidding on. Except she's not kidding on, because Harry is a complete fucking narcissist, compulsive lying cunt bag. She was asking him who his top 3 was, and he's like, I'm going to be mysterious. And she says, okay, I'm going to be mysterious. He said that before he went into the house, he says to his friends that she was a bit of him, and that he liked the way she moved. And I was like, what, he likes the way she moves like a fucking sneaky snake? I really feel like the boys are going to go all out in casa. People are going to be having sex and everything. The girls are tame. Let me know what you thought of tonight's episode. Do you think that anything's going to progress? Do you think that Dijon is going to come back with Andrada? Or is she going to come back with Ben? She's definitely going to end up back in the villa, that's for sure. But I'll see you again tomorrow. Bye!